Hello, friend. If you are interested in furthering your education for master's or PhD, you will agree with me, especially if it's abroad, if outside the country, you agree with me that one of the major taxes you have is to draft good statements of purpose. And that is why I want to show you how to write effective statement of purpose. For me, effective statement of purpose is such statement of purpose that the evaluator looks at and we want to look at it again. There are some people that submit their document just at a glance. Nobody's interested in that document anymore. So in the next few minutes, I'll be showing you how to draft effective statement of purpose. Now, after showing you the basic things you need to know about it, I'll show you the tips, including the structure. I'll show you the tips you need to know also. Then I will show you a sample. That sample is not perfect, but it's just a pointer of what is expected in a good statement of purpose. So what you need basically is an outline of your academic background. You need to highlight your relevant experiences. You need to clearly articulate your goals, whether it's short-term goal or long-term goal. And then you explain why you apply to that specific program or particular institution. So I'm going to show you in details how these things are done. First, it's important you understand what the purpose is all about. What is statement of purpose? Statement of purpose is basically a personal essay that explains your motivations, it explains your goals and your suitability for a particular program or opportunity. Sometimes those of us who apply for employment opportunity as experienced hired personnel, you don't just write application letter, you write suitability statement because you want to get a particular job. Now you are looking for opportunity for scholarship or you are looking for admission in a particular program. They expect you to draft this document called statement of problem. Why is it important? It allows you to showcase your personality, to showcase your skill, especially beyond academic records, beyond your CV. Okay, it helps you to demonstrate your passion and commitment for that particular program you are going for. This is a basic structure and content of what statement of purpose should look like. This is a basic content of what it should look like. It should have introduction. Now, this content you are seeing, you are not expected to put the document into sessions, but each of them could make up a paragraph. You have an introduction, you have academic background, if you have professional experience you bring it forth, then your research interest is key, and then your goals and your aspirations. If there is any challenge you have, you can also point it out in a very tactical way that will still be an advantage for you, and then you conclude your statement of purpose. I will treat each of them and what the expectations are on each of them. So let's take the first one, introduction. This introduction allows you to grab the reader's attention with a compelling opening that reflects your passion for that field. Most evaluators hardly go beyond the first stage. Recently I met a professor in Nigeria who actually helps a lot of institutions outside the country, especially in Europe and in America, to evaluate students' suitability for a particular program. And he told me that the key tool they look at in deciding suitability is your statement of purpose. And by the time they read the first few lines and it doesn't look catchy, your case is concluded as not suitable. So introduction allows you to grab the attention of the evaluator in a very compelling way, showing passion for that particular field, clearly stating your main purpose and the program. You need to specify the program or the opportunity you are applying for. This should not be missed in your introductory notes. Now, the next thing is your academic background. Here you highlight relevant coursework you have done, research experience if you have any, including your project work. If you have not got any publication in a journal, in a journal, you can present your BSc project work, a little reflection of what you did, and then your academic achievement. Are there some specific things you have achieved academically? You will also showcase it. You're expected to showcase your strength in terms of that discipline. If you are weak in the area, for instance, maybe you have a background in a particular course and you want to shift a little from that course, that could be a weakness. I mean, well, at this point you're expected to present your strengths. So you present the strength, that background you have in your academic, how it has prepared you for the program you are applying for, okay, and how it's aligned with that particular program you are applying for. Now, so that is your academic background. You present it as clear as possible. This includes your degree program. It includes your academic short courses. Maybe you have offered some online courses, short courses related to what you want to study. You can also reflect it here. Immediately you have finished that, you will be expected to present professional experience if you have any, and if it's applicable. Okay, maybe I studied economics and I want to apply for masters in accounting, and I've been working in an accounting firm. I will quickly reflect the fact that having worked in so and so firm, how that has shifted my interest, how that have made me become interested in accounting. Okay, you find a way of linking it up. You describe any relevant experience you have, including internship. Maybe you did internship somewhere. Maybe it was National Youth Service and you worked in a firm related to what you want to do. You reflect it there. If you have done a volunteer work somewhere with an NGO or any other organization. By the way, if you have interest in a particular course that is not the course you study, or even if it's the course you study, and you have opportunity to volunteer in a related field, that counts a huge plus for you. All right, and that volunteer work or the experience you are sharing should be something that will be pointing at the skills expected of anybody desiring to study that course. It will point at your experience. Okay, if it has something to do with leadership, your role in leadership in that firm should be projected. If it has to do with something that has to do with people who can think independently, and you have worked independently in that firm, reflect how independently you have worked, or with less, little or no supervision. You reflect it in that your work, and where possible, try to quantify your achievement. For those of you who have not seen my video on how to write a compelling CV that recruiter will see, they will not drop it until they call you. That I shared that. The link is also in this video. You can check the link. I shared my personal experience, and that's way of preparing CV has given me opportunities again and again. On 2 different occasions, I've got 2 jobs because I submitted that CV somewhere. So, and one of the things I highlighted in that video is how to quantify your achievement in workplace. If, for instance, you worked somewhere and you are attending to clients, if you can estimate the number of clients you attended to within a particular period, throw up figures. If you supervise 20 persons, throw up those figures. You don't need to tell somebody you have leadership skill. If you have already shown that you have led 20 people successfully to achieve a particular task. All right, so when you begin to say I have analytical skill, who wants to know whether you have analytical skill? If you say you have it, show me the evidence. So I would rather present the fact that I have done a research work published in so and so journal. When somebody sees that particular result or refer to that journal, the person is able to see the fact that you have analytical skill. You don't need to show you have research skill when you have shown that you have published paper. And for those of you who are young graduates, if you did very good BSc work, or you have done masters and you did a very good work, go and see how to clean up that work to publish a paper from it. That will be a plus for you at this stage. Okay, but if it's in the place of work, whatever you have done, if you can quantify it, number of persons you interacted with, number of clients you addressed, put them here. Those figures, they count volume, they count a lot. Now the other one is research area. All right, so you quickly discuss your area of research interest and how that research interest aligns with the program you are applying for. Whatever you are doing should be supporting the fact that you are the most suitable individual. Though you may not have that background, but you see how your passion, how your research area has also made you to align yourself with that program. Mention specific professors or or research areas of interest. Research areas of interest. Mention specific ones. If it's something to do with climate change, mention it. And if you have done any related work, mention it. If it's something that has to do with education or something that has to do with engineering or chemistry, and you have done specific things related to that area, try to highlight them as area of research interest. If you mention those areas, you can cite example, one or two. Try to substantiate your point. Don't just say I'm interested in this area and that's all. That doesn't make sense to anybody. If you're interested in that area, what have you done that have brought your interest thus far? I personally did my master's. I studied the gas industry and the economy of Nigeria. And then when I was doing my project defense, I presented the fact that during my NYC, because it was an area of interest for me, I visited the National Energy Control Center in Osun State, Nigeria, and I discussed with the general manager. And it was in the course of my discussion with him that I found out that the major challenge Nigeria has in power supply has a lot to do with gas industry, gas supply. And so that caught my attention. During my PhD, I studied something around the socioeconomic impact of oil exploration in Ogoniland. So during my presentation, I also linked up that experience and how it led me to studying gas. It was while I was studying gas that I saw that they were flaring gas, and this and other activities were showing interest on the community. So it shifted my interest to that particular area. So find a way of linking your research experience so that somebody that looks at it will know that this person has a clear direction. Okay, the next thing you need to highlight in your statement of purpose clearly is your goal. Clearly articulate your short-term goal and your long-term goals. Explain how the program will help you achieve these goals. You can showcase your ambition and drive. You can demonstrate your commitment to the field. Why is this program or this institution, why is it of interest to you? These are things you need to point out at that stage. Okay, if you are not very experienced, you may decide to use this my structure and put this your write-up together. After putting it together, you will remove the headings. Okay, look at this structure here. You can make this structure and build flesh into each of them. When you are finished building flesh into each of these subheading, then delete the headings and then allow that thing to be one piece. So we are at the point of goal and aspiration. Okay, so explain why you have chosen this particular program or that particular institution, highlighting its unique strengths and resources. Show that you have done your basic research, underground research about that program. All right. If, for instance, I have a particular professor in mind in that institution I want to supervise me, and have checked that professor to see his publication and it aligns with my research interest, I can even mention the fact that Professor so and so's work has being of aligns with my destiny, and I've read some of his paper, you may be surprised they may contact that prof to review my statement of purpose, and he may find it interested to work with somebody who has followed his research output. Okay, now after your goal and aspiration, if you have any particular challenge, just address that challenge, whether it's academic or personal challenge. Address them honestly and in a very constructive manner. You demonstrate your resilience and willingness to grow, your growth mindset, while you are addressing those challenges. The challenge could be the fact, like I mentioned earlier, that you didn't do that particular course in your first degree, but it has become an area of interest to you now. So that little background you didn't have could be the challenge, and then you now it indicates your willingness to grow in that area. Okay, so address it as sincere as possible. Now, in conclusion, that's the last session in your statement of purpose. You must find a way of concluding. You summarize your key points, reiterating your enthusiasm, reiterating your zeal, your passion for that particular program opportunity. You try to end with a strong statement that leaves a lasting impression. Most evaluators will look at your first statement, the introduction, the first paragraph, and may want to go towards the end. Make sure that the last sentence they are reading is something that can go with them, leaving them with the impression that, yes, we have found the candidate. Okay, I want to show you a few tips as I cap up this discussion. Okay, a few tips. The first set of tips, 3 of them here. Be clear and concise. Avoid jargon as much as possible. Use simple language. Don't try to impress anybody. You will be trying to impress someone and oppress yourself in the process. Okay, so use simple language to ensure your message is easy to understand. Be as authentic as possible. In your writing, write as much as possible in your own voice. Let your personality shine through while you are writing. Be specific. Provide concrete examples, like I've mentioned. If it is possible, throw up figures. Figures matters a lot. Someone was applying to somewhere, a research firm, and noted that, look, he stated somewhere, I have been training people in econometrics. In the last 1 year, I have trained 365 undergraduate students in econometrics. Any research firm that sees that figure will know that this person who is a trainer could be a good hand for us, and so they want to invite you, for you to have trained 300 and something persons. So as much as possible, through all figures. Maybe you are somebody who have interest in mental health, and you're able to remember how many cases you've handled in the last 1 year. You can indicate it. In the last 1 year, I've been able to handle 200 persons. A doctor friend did a presentation recently, and when she put up the figures of the number of surgeries she conducted in 1 year, about over 1,000 in a community, a small community. Anybody who needs a doctor who is active, we want to go for that person. So be specific, be concrete. Provide details to support your claims. Don't just claim that you're a researcher, you are this. Each of the claim you are presenting, present evidence to support that claim. Okay, the other set of tips I need you to note is the fact that it's important to proofread your work carefully. Ensure that your statement of purpose is free of grammatical error or typos. It can happen to anybody. You may have something in mind, and while you are typing, the system adopts another thing. So when you finish, read it through. If it's possible, you can give somebody to read for you. Okay, and then and that is what I call feedback. Feedback is a gift. If you give to someone and the person reads it and comes back with certain corrections, maybe your trusted family member, maybe your trusted friend, maybe a mentor, maybe you give it to them to review it for you and critique it. All right, and then they give you feedback. Work on the feedback to improve on what you want to submit. And then if there is specific limits of words, don't exceed that limit. Follow any word count guideline provided in that program or in the institution. If they don't, make it as simple as possible. A page or a page and a half could be fine. Maximum 2 pages. People don't have all the time. If you know that some people are paid per time they spend at work, you wouldn't want to give them plenty, a long essay to read. All right. The last set of writing tips I need you to note is the fact that it is important that you use a formal but a very friendly tone. Write as if you are talking to a professor or admission committee member. When you are writing, write as though this is what you are going to present if you are asked to present it verbally. Okay, highlight unique aspects where need be. Emphasize what makes you stand out from other applicants. Some institutions receive these applications in thousands, and they will be looking for what will single out the number of persons they want. Showcase your knowledge of the program. Okay, showcase your knowledge, demonstrate that you have done your research. If I'm applying for a particular opportunity in a university and I've gone to study what they have done in the last few years, and I'm bringing that information to them, and this is something they are familiar with, they will see me as someone to collaborate with. Okay, understand the program requirement, and then, like I've mentioned earlier, as much as possible, quantify your stories. Use numbers, use data to support your claims, and make your statement more compelling when you throw up those figures. Okay, now the other thing I need you to note here as I summarize this session, then I will show you a sample, and that will be the end of this presentation. Okay, address any weakness you have. The weakness may be the fact that you didn't study that course ab initio. All right, so but you are ready to build up on it. In that example I'll show you, that was the key thing there. Okay, if you have any weakness, address it directly and be honest. Then avoid using cliche, all these overused phrases. Use original language to avoid sounding like you are trying to impress anybody. And as much as possible, avoid plagiarism. Ensure your statement is original, not copied from another source. Many of these institutions, once you send it, they pass it through a channel that does plagiarism test. Once you face plagiarism test, and they throw it off. I have a video I had done on how to improve on the originality of your work to avoid plagiarism. The link is also provided in this video, so that in case you are prepared it, you can throw in that thing. If you look at that video, you see how to check for plagiarism and then show originality in what you are submitting. On that note, I want to show you a sample. Okay, a sample of a statement of purpose. Like I mentioned earlier, it is not a perfect one, but it is something someone prepared, my friend in South Africa, and I read that. I was so impressed, and I felt I could share with you so that you can pick some learning points from it. All right, and I have a friend here with me, Divine Yemi Ayara. She's going to help me read that thing quickly. Just pay attention and scan through it while she is reading. Okay, all right, beautiful. So let's take it from here. Divine, can you give us this? Take it slowly. Thank you.
Okay, so this is an application for a postgraduate degree, master's degree. I am writing to express my strong motivation to pursue a master's degree in, fill in the program's name, under your esteemed scholarship program or institution. My passion for education, economic development, and the role of active citizenship in addressing critical issues such as energy, water, economics, and climate change has driven me to seek this opportunity to deepen my knowledge and contribute meaningfully to my country's progress. Although I have not previously studied this subject in depth, except for economics, I have developed a deep interest in economics and its impact on governance and societal development. I recognize that while economics can be a very challenging field, I am eager to master it and pursue it further at the PhD level, with the ultimate goal of working in government economic policy. My aspiration is to contribute to shaping policies that drive sustainable development, economic stability, and improved living conditions for citizens. Beyond academics, I am highly committed to education as a tool for empowerment. I believe that education is not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about fostering conscious and active citizenship. Citizens, especially young people, must understand the critical role of energy, water, and climate change in economic sustainability. I strongly believe that access to quality education is not just a privilege, but a necessity, and it should lead to practical solutions to the pressing challenges facing our country. For me, education is the greatest investment any country can make, not just for the individual growth, but for the national and continental progress. Quality education must translate into real benefits such that can help us solve problems related to energy shortages, water crisis, climate change, and economic instability. With this scholarship, I will gain the expertise needed to become a leader in these areas, driving policies and programs that ensure a sustainable and prosperous future for my country. I'm confident that my dedication, passion, and vision align with the goals of this scholarship program. I would be honored to receive this opportunity to advance my studies and contribute to research, and also apply my knowledge in ways that will create lasting change. Thank you for considering my application. I look forward to the possibility of joining your program and making a meaningful impact in my community and beyond. Sincerely.
Yeah, so that was a very good one. By the way, thank you, Divine. I love your reading skill. So this is basically a sample of a statement of purpose. I just saw it. I stumbled across it when a friend of mine I mentor in South Africa, shared it with me. So it's something you can pick a learning point from. Okay. Now, having said that, I want to hope that you will be able to draft a statement of purpose. Draft what I call a generic one. That generic one puts all the information you need. When you have opportunity, don't submit generic one. Tailor it down to the particular area of interest and stress the area of advantages you have that will make you be considered as the most suitable candidate for that opportunity. And like I mentioned earlier, you can do something. Give it to friends to help you read and improve on it. Thank you very much for joining in this program. If you appreciate the seminar and you are yet to subscribe, please do subscribe. If you are kind enough to drop word of appreciation in the comment box, that will be appreciated. Thank you very much, and may God bless your aspiration for a greater opportunity. Thank you. Happy cheers.